everyone, Saki here and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I wanted to talk to you guys all about how to buy your first Chanel. So there are a lot of things to think about when considering to buy this very expensive iconic handbag, and I have a couple of pointers and tips for you guys, so we will be going through all of that in this video. So if you're interested in Chanel and you love luxury things, please continue to watch and please subscribe to my channel as well, because I do upload videos just like this every single week. So I've come up with like a list of steps that I think that you should go through when deciding on what handbag you want to buy. So it's going to go in like a little flow chart kind of system. So the things that I want to talk about today are choosing a bag for your lifestyle, leather, color, classic versus seasonal, and then once you've decided all that, whether to go pre-owned or new. So let's start off with the first category and the very first thing that you have to decide before you buy a bag, and that is the purpose of the bag. So I think the main question with this is, are you going to be using this bag for every day, or do you only want to use it on special occasions? Now this totally depends on you. If you are the type of person who likes to have things just to look at and use occasionally, then I would probably say the purpose of buying your Chanel would be just to use it on special occasions and for fancy events. However, if you are the type of person who loves to actually use your items and wants to use them every single day, then I would say the purpose of your Chanel would probably to be worn as an everyday bag or to be used very often in your life. Now, having decided that, it's kind of easier to narrow down your search a little bit because different types of Chanel bags serve different purposes. So if you are someone who just wants to use their Chanel bag for like evening purposes or for special occasions, then I would say you want to choose like a smaller to medium sized bag. So for example, maybe the Chanel Classic Flap or the Chanel Mini or even a Chanel Wallet on Chain. However, if you do want to use something for every day, maybe you want to go with a Chanel Jumbo. This can hold all of your everyday essentials, or maybe even a Chanel backpack if you are one of those people who like to use backpacks and need something that carries a lot of things. Now keep in mind that we haven't talked about like color or leather or anything. This is just the step where you decide what type of bag you're looking for, because that will definitely help you narrow down your search. If you aren't exactly sure which bag you want, then maybe you want to also think about like what kind of bag will fit your lifestyle. For example, if you really need a bag to go crossbody on you, that definitely also helps to narrow down your search, because not every single bag can go crossbody. So I would just come up with a list of things that you definitely need out of your bag in terms of functionality and purpose, so that way when you are looking through the different kinds of bags that are out there, you'll be able to narrow down which ones will actually work for you and your lifestyle. So after you've decided what type or kind of bag you want, now let's talk about the leather, because that also is definitely a huge deciding factor on how it's going to work for your lifestyle and the purpose you want. So obviously there are two main types of leather for Chanel. The first one being caviar, which is a more durable leather. It's a pebbled leather, so you can get it wet, you can scratch the surface of it without getting it damaged, and it's generally just the most durable of all of the types of leather of Chanel. The second main leather that Chanel has is the Chanel lambskin leather. Now this leather is known for being more smooth, more prone to scratches, and just generally more delicate than the caviar leather. Now although these are the two main types of leather Chanel has, there are also a lot of variations. For example, sometimes Chanel releases goat skin. They also have aged calf skin. There's also different fabrics like denim and satin. There are so many different choices out there depending on the season and the type of bag. However, I would just consider these two types of bag to be like the classic Chanel leathers and the ones that they have in stock most of the time. So if you want a bag for everyday use and you don't want to have to worry about it, I would definitely suggest the caviar leather. It is so durable, like it's scratch resistant, so this type of leather will definitely be better for you if you do want to use your Chanel more often and on a daily basis. However, if you do want to use your Chanel just for special occasions or evening events, the lambskin leather is so amazing. It's luxurious, it's buttery soft, it's so like shiny and puffy, and I just love the way that lambskin looks. Now lambskin has the reputation for being really delicate, and I do agree, but I don't think that it's necessarily as delicate as people make it out to be. For example, if you do get some surface scratches on it, if you just give them a little bit of rub with your finger, they do tend to come off. If you do love this leather, it isn't as fragile as you might think, so I would definitely recommend it as well. Alright, moving on, I kind of briefly talked about this, but now you have to decide whether you want to go classic or seasonal. So what I mean by this is that Chanel releases like classic pieces every single year. However, every single season there are different variations of the classic pieces. For example, all of my classic pieces are seasonal pieces because they're all pink, and pink is a seasonal color. So depending on what you want, you'll have to time your purchase correctly if you want to buy brand new. Now, Preloved is a whole nother story and we will talk about it at the end, but I did want to mention this because I think it's very important when deciding on color. So of course, if you want a classic black handbag, those come out with every single season. You can buy them throughout the entire year. However, if you are looking for a specific color, you have to time your purchase wisely so that you have a better chance of getting the color you want. So for example, I only really love light baby pinks, and Chanel doesn't come out with baby pinks every season, obviously. So the way that Chanel seasonal pieces work is that they have different collections that come out in various times of the year that tend to be certain types of colors. For example, Chanel starts every year off with the Cruise collection, which always has like really bright fun colors. For example, the Cruise collection in 2019 came out with really fun colors like the bright Tiffany blue and the super hot pink Chanel, and those usually come out like around November of the year ahead of it. So the Cruise collection for 2019 comes out in November 2018. Now if you're into more pastel colors like the baby pink like me, or like maybe yellows or something, spring and summer is the way to go, and spring and summer collections start to come out around like end of January to February and go all the way to about June. Now if you're into more dark colors, more muted colors, maybe you want to go pre-fall and fall. Pre-fall and fall colors start to come out around July, going all the way from September to October-ish. And then of course, if you are into winter colors, which are the darker colors like dark gray, navy, and all of that, you'll probably want to stick to fall and winter, which start to come out around the like September to November months. Now you may realize some of these months do cross over, and I think it's because the collections like kind of trickle down from each other. But if you are actively saving money and you do have a color in mind and you want to set a goal for yourself, I feel like you can kind of use this schedule to go by and to plan your purchase. Now if you do want to go pre-loved, obviously you don't have to time your purchase that way because there are always a lot of color options pre-loved. That is why most of my bags have been bought pre-loved, because I do specifically only like pink, and in the pre-loved market you can find so many different colors. Alright, now that you've decided on the color you want, we have to decide on hardware. The reason why I put this one kind of towards the end is because sometimes you can't really choose hardware. What I mean by this is that a lot of colors like already have set hardware that goes with them. So if you're into a specific color, sometimes like it'll only come in silver hardware, or sometimes it'll only come in gold hardware. So I feel like you kind of have to be lenient about this. However, if you are into the classic colors, you always have the option of choosing gold or silver. I personally really love gold hardware. I think I only have like one bag that has silver hardware. However, I do think that silver is beautiful, and I know a lot of people like to go for silver because it is a little bit more understated and practical for everyday use. So this kind of goes back to thinking about like the purpose of your Chanel as well. So if you are looking for something more of an evening occasion, maybe you'll want to go with gold hardware. On the flip side, if you are looking for something more everyday that you can wear that's a little bit more understated, maybe silver hardware will be the way to go. And another thing that I do want to mention is that a lot of the hardware now isn't like just silver or gold. They come in different variations. So for example, one that's really popular right now is like champagne or light gold, and the light gold looks silver in some lighting and looks gold in other lighting, so that might be a good compromise if you can't decide on both. For example, my Chanel mini, I don't even know what color it's coming off on camera, but it's definitely light gold when you look at it, but then in like some darker lightings it does look a little bit more silver. And of course there are also variations of gold and silver. So there's like the ruthenium hardware, which is like more of a gunmetal silver, and there's like the antique gold, which is a little bit more of a brushed gold kind of look. Alright, now let's talk about the big question, and that is whether to go pre-owned or new. And I think that this all has to do about money, because obviously buying brand new is going to be a heck of a lot more expensive than buying pre-owned. So you really have to decide what is more important to you and actually how much money you can save to buy. I have a whole video all about the pros and the cons of buying brand new versus pre-owned, so I will link that down below for you as well, because I do go more in depth on it. But basically I think the benefits of buying brand new are: you get a brand new piece, it probably hasn't been touched by many people, so it is probably in immaculate condition. 2, you get the in boutique buying experience. I personally think this is kind of overrated because it really is like like a hit or miss with in boutique experiences. Sometimes I get really great people who are really nice to me and give me a whole experience, and sometimes I get people who are just there to make a sale and don't really care. So I don't know, I just don't think that it's that important to me anymore, just because it is a hit or miss and I can't really rely on getting the full in boutique experience every time. And that's really what I think the two main benefits or pros are about buying in store. Now if you do go the Preloved mart, there are so many pros to buying Preloved. Probably the first thing is the saving money. So for the most part, if you are really looking for it, you can find a great deal on the bag that you want. A lot of people and even consignment stores will sell bags at lower prices. Now you have to be careful about this because not everywhere that you shop Preloved will have a discount like that. For example, Fashion File tends to sell their prices like at retail or even a little bit higher depending on the popularity of the item, but they do also have some pieces that are priced a little bit lower as well. So you just kind of have to do your research on that. I'm going to link one more video down below for you guys all about how I get my handbags authenticated, because I know when you are buying Preloved, that is a big question. Now another option that I want to talk about that you do have when you do go the Preloved route is buying vintage. You can find so many great deals on vintage pieces. I have two examples of vintage pieces that I've bought this year. So the first one that I want to talk about is this classic medium flap. Now I got this classic medium flap for about $2,000, and compared to the retail price of $5,600, I got this at a pretty great deal. Now as you can see, there is a lot of wear to it because this bag is 27 years old. You don't have to go this extreme. I mean, you can buy vintage pieces that are like 20 years old and look a lot better, but this is just the example I have to show you. However, if you aren't super set on the classics, there are a lot of seasonal pieces like this that are heavily discounted just because they are a little bit more strange and quirky and unique. I bought this bag for about $700, which is a really great price for a Chanel. I mean, it's kind of unheard of, and it's in really great condition. I think the only reason why it was just discounted so much is because it is a little bit of a more unique shaped bag. So that is an option for you if you do have like a lower budget. And with that, I wanted to share with you guys my very first Chanel piece ever, and that is my Chanel wallet on chain. I actually did like little to no research when buying this bag, so I kind of wish that I had watched a video similar to this before I bought one, but it ended up working for me, and I do really love this wallet on a chain. But the reason why I chose this is because you can use it as a large wallet, you can use it as a crossbody bag, you can use it as a fancy night out bag. I just think that it is amazing. Now I think that a lot of people don't go for lambskin for their first bag, but I just thought that lambskin was so luxurious and so beautiful, and I just loved the baby pink color of it. And I did buy this Preloved off of eBay. I think I paid about like $1,000 something for it. I can't really remember on the top of my head. And yeah, just a really great purchase, and I honestly can't even tell you how happy I was to receive it. Alright, that was all for my video today. I hope that you enjoyed it. One more thing that I wanted to leave you guys with is that if you are buying your first Chanel, I know I mentioned like a lot of cheaper options at the end, but I really do think that you should use this system to find the exact bag you want and just wait for that bag, save for that bag. Even if your goal is to buy like a Chanel jumbo brand new and it's very expensive, I honestly think it's worth it to go for the bag that you really want at first, because if you are just compromising and buying a bag that you kind of want but isn't your dream bag, you might regret it later, and you might find that you are buying more bags in order to fill that need for the dream bag, and in the end that just kind of wastes more money. So if you do have like a dream bag or goal in mind, I would just stick to it and just try to save as hard as you can for it. And if you do need a little bit more convincing on why you should buy a Chanel, I do have a video all about why I think Chanel is a great investment and something that you should definitely put your money in. So I will link that down below and leave it for you at the end of this video for you to check out if you want to. So thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, and also don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I do upload videos every single week. And with that, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!